Namaste and welcome to Ripple Yoga. It's good to be here with everybody again. I want to talk today about respiratory health, especially with what is going on in the world now with COVID, which is a respiratory ailment. And yoga can be, when practiced, the correct techniques can be extraordinarily powerful for the health of the respiratory system and the immune system. And it really takes an integrated approach. Integrated meaning we need to go beyond just the asana, albeit it's not to say that asana is not helpful, it is, but when taught in the westernized way, it largely focuses on just the musculoskeletal system. So there's a lot more to it. One of the beauties of the fourth limb of yoga, pranayama, and I learned, I think 100 breath techniques while living in the ashram. And these breath techniques are so vital for the health of our respiratory system. We are, as a society, and this is not just in the West, but more so in the West, just because of how we are culturally and socially. We spend a lot of time sitting in chairs and with our bodies hunched, I think looking at a computer or looking at a device. And we don't sit up straight. And a great example of this, and you can do this anytime, is sit down and hunch forward and try to take a deep breath. And notice how difficult it is to take a deep breath hunched forward. And then play that through and think, how often am I hunching at my computer? Or slouching when sitting on the couch or in the car or whatever, and all this sitting that we do. And it's no wonder that we become very shallow breathers. What that means is that literally the lungs are restricted from expanding. So if we look at the way the lungs work, they expand based on the space available in the thoracic cavity. Well, if we're taking our musculoskeletal system and we are hunching it over and restricting the amount of space available, then the lungs cannot expand and we become shallow breathers. Now, our body will only breathe as much as we need to survive anyway, because it's governed by survival instinct, Abhinavesha. So what we do in yoga is we transform ourselves from shallow breathers, and through combination of different asana and pranayama practices, notice not one alone, both, we become conscious, deep breathers. See, it's important to know that about 80% of our energy comes from the respiratory system. So we're depriving ourselves of an efficient energy system when we are shallow breathing. And then 80% of our body's ability to detoxify, not just carbon dioxide from the respiratory process, but all of the toxins that we bring in from the air that we breathe and the food that we eat that gets stored in the joints and around the organs and in the fat cells, is also detoxified through the respiratory system. So we are limiting our body's ability to create energy and to detoxify by becoming a shallow breather, which most of us are. And I say most, I mean, I don't know the exact number because I can't go on and measure it, but I would say it's 98, 99%. Very few people are conscious deep breathers because our society is not set up that way. Now, conversely, sit up nice and straight. You can do this in a chair or sit hips to heels, and then take a deep breath and notice the difference. Now, and again, I mentioned COVID at the beginning, but this can apply to any respiratory ailment, colds, pneumonia, whatever. If we keep our respiratory system healthy proactively, of course we're boosting our immune system, but we are also in my experience, and this is important, this has been my experience, anytime we do get sick, we are jettisoning the illness out of the body faster because of the deeper breath. I've had the cold and the flu since I became a deep conscious breather, and it lasts generally a day and a half. It's a profound thing to where it used to last a week. Again, my experience. I'm not sitting here claiming to be any sort of medical expert. I can only share what I've experienced. And my experience is that we measured our lungs in the ashram. My lungs were at about 2 inches expansion, full contraction to full expansion, when I arrived at the ashram. And when I left, high, middle, and low lungs were at about 5 inches. That ended up being about a 250% increase in the efficiency of my respiratory function. And the effects have been profound, not just on the physical health, not just on prevention of illness, but they've had an incredible effect on mental serenity. So what can we do to help ourselves really live a higher quality of life as we age and stay healthier? Is we take the steps to become a deeper, more conscious breather. And all of these things are outlined in our virtual studio, in our platform. We teach it. We share the techniques to practice it. And then you get the results. Namaste, friends.